Do you want to achieve your goals faster? Do you want to live your dreams faster? Well, I can tell you right now, the more understanding and knowledge that you have about those goals or those dreams will determine the pace at which you can ever achieve them. Goal clarity will always equal goal speed. The pace at which a goal is able to be achieved will be contingent on the base of your knowledge. Welcome to Build with Rob. It's your boy Rob Dyrdek. Just out here giving it all he's got, trying to continually push you to think about all the different ways that you can add tools to your toolkit, to your mind, to your way of thinking to make you better, give you a higher probability of achieving what you want to achieve, which I hope is the human why of living that harmonious, high-quality existence that we all seek. And today, I really want to talk about how, you should think about the pacing of a goal and how long it's actually going to take you. It's goal speed is just this thing that we always look at it from the fast lens. Like, how do I achieve this as fast as possible, right? Because really, that's exciting. It is to find great success in a rapid pace is extremely exciting. Like I have done it in business, I have done it in life, and I've also seen the other side of thinking I was going to do it and it never work. They both line up and start the same. Like you put together a plan and you get all excited and you go for it, and depending on how smart that plan was, is the pace of which it happens, or if it even happens at all. And the problem is for most people, you don't discover how bad the plan was and how much you didn't even actually understand until after it's basically over and not going to work. Or you've just been grinding it out for so long, continuing to learn and relearn and have to start over and all of these things to even decide if you want to continue to push on through the valley of death and even attempt to even realize the dream and the vision anyway. And that's why you have to begin to think about how much you understand about what it is you're trying to achieve and how important it is to just continually put in the effort, the time, and energy to learn as much as you possibly can until it gets incredibly clear on how to actually achieve it. It's almost like a subsect of the start at the end concept, right? Where you really got to define the outcome that you're hoping to achieve and then build the steps backwards to achieve it. But the more time and more understanding, the more effort that you put into understanding all aspects of what that goal is, you are going to greatly increase the probability and the speed at which that goal is going to happen. Because it ends up kind of looking like this, right? Like if you want to achieve something extraordinarily fast, super fast, then you have to have an exact understanding of what you are doing, what it's going to take, and it has minimal probability that it won't work. And really, it's just a matter of putting in the time and the effort and the execution in order for it to happen. And I've seen it, I think Joel Lee, our portfolio company that is the Filtered Shower Head, is a really, really good example of like, an entrepreneur who's deeply experienced in direct-to-consumer business creation, was in the footwear game and did not like the problematic side of footwear sizes and the capital-intensive side of inventory and style change and all this, and chose a single product that has reoccurring revenue with the subscription based on the filter for the filtered shower head. and then his expertise, knowledge, and every bit of understanding he applied to launching a business and had incredible success in a super short amount of time. That is when you just understand every single thing that about the business and every single thing that you are doing inside this world that is increasing the probability of you finding success at a rapid rate. That is when you know you're going to achieve something in a very, very fast manner. It's something that you have your complete and total mind wrapped around, and when you design a strategy, there is very little inside that strategy that you don't have complete and total understanding of what you're hoping to achieve and the skill set to go and achieve it. That is what a really, really fast pace would look like in achieving a goal. Right. Then there's sort of what I'd consider just fast. Fast is when you have, great general knowledge about what it is you're hoping to achieve. In business, you come from the actual industry, you're creating an idea that you're already deeply familiar with, that you have, already understand sort of the ways to create it, how to make it, how to bring it to market. You already have relationships with the industry, the manufacturers, this stuff that you now have a deep understanding and general knowledge. That is when you are going to achieve something at a fast pace because you already have that knowledge. The slow is where, the majority of the entrepreneur world exists, where you understand like business in general. You have a general understanding of the idea that you want to do, but you don't have the experience. So every new thing that happens, everything that happens along the way is basically you learning it for the first time. And you see this so much in young entrepreneurs, right? Where, you had this big vision for this idea and have this amazing concept that, is really smart, but actually realizing that concept is so brutally difficult and long because you've got to learn something new every single day, every step of the way. That is what it is like to create a goal that you have limited understanding of and that you're going to have to learn your way to success. It's going to be slow. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not points along the way where you're going to build that general knowledge and deeper understanding that's going to push it to fast. And then eventually you're going to fully and completely understand that world. And if it is meant to be successful, boom, you're going to pop right into that super fast zone. Each of those have the ability for you to grow into, but you have to be realistic based off of your knowledge of the goal, of the vision, to prepare yourself and manage your personal expectations with how long it is actually going to take to achieve it. And if you don't know anything about it whatsoever, you don't know anything about the industry, you've never had a company, all you got is a dream. And you wish that dream was real. You have no knowledge. You're just going to go for it. It's probably never going to happen. That is how important the foundation of deeply understanding an idea, a goal, a vision, a dream is so important to accelerate the pace of it actually being realized and coming alive. And then, for you can do this at any time in your life in the spare hours that you have, regardless of your stage of life. Especially for people that have existing sort of systems and have a job and kind of are obligated and responsibilities to pay for. So like the idea of taking the risk to jump out and do something different or whatever it may be, like it's harder. But what's not uh, something that is hard is dedicating your free hours to learn every single thing that you possibly can about what you want to do and eventually create a goal and a plan into. And for me, I don't care if you spend, 5 years reading books and articles and talking to people about a certain space that you want to get in, and it takes you 5 years to get there, and all your friends are like, "Oh, like, man, he's like the entrepreneur, he loves talking about not ready to pull that trigger, too afraid to quit his job." You know what I mean? You can block all that out so quickly. If you know that you're learning more and growing more and evolving and your understanding is getting clearer and it's informing a plan that when you're ready to do, that you are going to be able to execute with much higher probability, and the success is going to be much faster. And I think about even when I developed the Dyrdek machine in 2013. If I essentially was told by a private equity group that I was uninvestable and didn't understand business whatsoever, after, being a serial entrepreneur since the age of 17 for 20 years, I basically developed a single one-dimensional way to look at business. And that was, oh, you just market it and you create cool ideas and then they just become successful, right? And what about the ones that don't become successful? I don't know. Maybe the story was off. People didn't understand the passion. It's whatever the lens may be. I came to the realization at 38 years old that I just simply did not understand business and how to create value. So now I knew, after going through the experience of sort of the space of private equity, and now looking at how valuations worked and how a company was looking at valuing me and all of my businesses and my personal brand, and how they were looking at me to make a return for them, and I just began to see business differently. And I declared in that era that I'm going to come back to this private equity group and get an investment from them, and then show them exactly what I would do with that money and how I would get them the return that they would need. And now that required me going back in and learning everything about business. And so as I began the journey of just educating myself, I knew it started first with, like, I just don't understand the financial side and the operational side. Like, I am a brand marketing and media guy. Like, I need to learn everything that there is about the operation and financial side. And so I just began the journey. And as I began to learn more and more about, how to look at a business holistically, I just began to see how many other things that I needed to learn and understand, and began to even see like how important, like, deciding the brand concept informs the potential product line scalability, and how that product line scalability works actually informed the plausibility on the operational side, the needs on the capital side, and ultimately, do the margins even support creating a sustainable business? Like, I just never saw business through that multi-dimensional lens, and that was a very long process. Very long process of beginning to be able to see all of the parts and begin to learn them and understand them. And what was happening that entire time, I began that journey in 2013, and all the people that mentored me and were around me were just like, man, you're spending too much time developing this process and creating this plan. Like, you need to just go. You need to just get out and start building. If you're going to build, a venture-backed branded house of brands, you need to go. because anyone will tell you that, like, if you can spend all the time in the world planning a company, but you're really going to learn what it takes when you actually launch it and begin to operate it. And that is true. But if you spend the time to get as much knowledge and clarity and understanding in the initial plan, you're still going to learn so much that you could never have learned through just reading and gathering information. But it is going to be uh, at a less shocking manner, and it'll be in a way that it allows you to continuously to adjust into the clarity and just slightly pivot rather than completely start over. And it will ultimately be a huge difference in the amount of preparation and knowledge you have on the pace of which it may happen, and ultimately the ease of which it may happen. And in my case, man, in year 2, they were like, "This is ridiculous. What are you even doing? It's 2 years later." It's 2 years later. And I still understood that, like, no, I'm still learning so much, and I'm beginning to see even further into the future of even how and what I would even do from a structure standpoint, from how I wanted to look at each company, like what my goals were for each company and how I integrated those goals into my own financial goals, and then sort of the long-term capital I would need to be able to do this over and over. I just kept learning more and more and more. I did not launched the machine until 2016, July of 2016, 3.5 years later from when I began the journey of what I was going to do. And again, when you look at that, it seems like this incredibly long amount of time, but I was able to be extraordinarily patient because I was like learning with purpose, and I could feel myself growing, and the overall plan got clearer and clearer. Right. And so by the time I launched, I already knew what I had to do, where I was going to find success and where the potential risks were at such a higher level. I had built in a philosophy now of even the type of entrepreneurs and companies that I would create based on the plausibility and the probability of being able to accelerate them to a liquidity event. And it's why in a few short years we had 450 million in liquidity and exit events. Like, so if I would have just launched the machine and I would have just been struggling trying to figure it all out, like along the way, then it's like, oh, that didn't work. I would have been putting so much time and energy into these companies that I launched without having my system or process in place that could have potentially just put the entire thing into a position where it didn't work at all. Instead, I was patient and didn't listen to anybody and continued to educate and grow knowledge and develop an understanding. So by the time that I created the plan, I was able to execute it at a rapid, life-changing level in a short amount of time, because I took the time to build the knowledge and get deep clarity. And then what happened along the way? I just rapidly evolved into a more efficient, better, smarter, version of how that I would continue to build companies and curate entrepreneurs and look at where an opportunity even is. And when I landed on a CEO like Ryan Babenzien and the concept of Jolie, our process, understood that, man, this is a person with the skill set. This is the right idea, the unit economics, the potential sleepiness of the market, the reoccurring revenue. Like, bam, this is special. And it is why, a company does 4.5 million the first year, gonna do 30 or 40 million this year. You could be valued at, close to 200 million after a year and a half of launching it, which is so rare in the space. But it is a combination of like our ability to assess and look and curate, which is the goal of what the venture studio is, connecting to somebody who has the knowledge-based understanding and moment in time that they could create a plan and a goal and reach it in an accelerated manner. So I say this to you from the lens of understanding that goal clarity will always equal goal speed. In that you just have to be willing to put in the time, develop the knowledge to continuously understand what it is you're trying to do at the deepest level. That is going to give you so much more than just belief in yourself and your idea, but it's going to increase the probability that it's going to be successful. And beyond that, it is going to increase the speed by which it is successful. And I promise you that anything that you do in life, it is way more fun when it works and it works fast. I'm telling you, I am telling you, if you think you're so excited to just get out and get it going and I'll figure it out as I go, cool. I've done that. It's painful. Most of the time it doesn't work. And when it does, it's almost not even worth it because your soul got torn out of you on the way. Versus when you allow yourself to gain that clarity and then you execute a plan into that clarity and then it's successful in a rapid manner, woo! Man, that is achievement in the most fulfilling, thrilling, and rewarding way possible. And I promise you, it is worth all of the time lost in the beginning for you to put in the effort to understand it, for you to even get there in the first place, because that way of achieving a goal will forever and always be so much more enjoyable than grinding it out to the end. Because you would much rather, as soon as you hit the ground running, it's just growth, boom, success, we did it, what's up next? That's the energy and the joy that you want. And it's capable, and you have the capability of doing that if you build the awareness that it is important to develop that depth of clarity before you ever set out on that journey. Because that's just what I want for you. You know what I mean? I just want you to find the success, find the joy and the thrill of living that harmonious, high-quality existence where continually finding success because it's part of your overall system. That's what we're trying to preach down here. To all of you, appreciate you for being a part of the show. Like, subscribe, send to the homie, send to your mom who can't achieve her goals. You know what I mean? Send her to YouTube, have her make a comment. Whatever she does. And remember to tell her, Mom, you can't just, think that you're going to start a bridge club and change the bridge club games. You got to really put a vision to how you can disrupt the bridge world, okay? And then, Mom, you got to have a plan that makes sense to all the other moms who want to step into the bridge world and be a part of it. And then, Mom, you got to put into the offer. You got to put in the effort. And everything you got, Mom, to change the bridge game. Till we meet again. See it, believe it, do it.